Hi, Sagittarius. My name is Audrey Alison. Thank you for joining me for your September 2015 forecast for the month. I'm coming to you from New Jersey, and I also wanted to take the time to thank you for subscribing and liking and sharing these posts, these videos. I really appreciate your support, and for liking my Facebook page, Audrey Alison, Astrology and Tarot. This is a hectic month. This has a lot of energy. I'm just going to be real with you. It's not the most spectacular energy with a Mercury retrograde sandwiched in between two eclipses. And I'm just going to jump right in because one thing that's happening is Venus at the top of the month, on the 6th of September, is going direct. And the planet of love and money direct is always a good thing. So Venus goes direct at 14 degrees of Leo. In your ninth house of belief systems, foreign long-distance travel, the house you naturally govern on the astrological solar wheel, the house of higher education, and legalities, the house of law, philosophy, and how you see the world, the belief system. So with Venus direct, the planet of love and money, there could be more support for education at this time. Venus will be in Leo still through October 8th. So you want to take advantage of her in this ninth house. The top of the month is excellent for foreign travel, but it gets a little tricky with eclipse energy and the Mercury retrograde, where I do not recommend travel. So if you're doing some last summer experiences, I would say the end of August would be exceptional, and the first week of September would be great. But then you want to hone it in and reel it in by the 13th, maybe a little bit before then, but on the 13th we have our first eclipse of the month. And this is the new moon partial solar eclipse at 20 degrees of Virgo in your 10th house of retirement and career. For those of you Sagittarians who are looking to retire at this time, the eclipse energy could pick you up and put you out of that position if you're in that position to do so. Now, the new moon energy is the awareness of and the start of something new, and it's all about your intentions. But with eclipses, eclipses are like a portal. It's a positioning between the sun and the moon that's so exact it opens up an experience or awareness, and something, the veil is removed. Something needs to be seen here at 20 degrees of Virgo. So if you're not a Sagittarius rising, I really want you to watch your ascendant forecast for the eclipse to the degree of 20 degrees Virgo if you have your birth charts. If not, you can always book a reading with me. We can get down to it. But I really feel like since these are solar forecasts, we'll address the fact that, for you, this is regarding the career. It's regarding the social status. The 10th house is the highest house in position on the astrological wheel. It could be the start of a new career endeavor for you. It could be eclipsing in a new position for you that would serve your highest good, your highest realm in this life path that you've chosen. Now, on the 17th, this is a day I want you to circle because I don't think a lot of action should be had on this day and a lot of judgment should be taken. There's a lot of things happening on the 17th. One of them, Mercury being retrograde that day through the 9th of October. Mercury retrogrades at 15 degrees of Libra. This is the 11th house of friendships, clubs, goals, wishes, social sector, the organizations you're affiliated with. Since Mercury is communications and the speech and how you're presenting yourself, I feel like you should really watch the words being said to the friends through the 17th and the 9th of October, 17th of September to the 9th of October. Also, how you're communicating with groups of people, clubs. If you have to talk at an event, this, you could not be coming across very clearly, so I want you to choose your words wisely during that retrograde. But also on that day, on the 17th, Saturn is exiting Scorpio, and you're the next sign after Scorpio. So you're experiencing your Saturn return. If you know your rising sign, please adhere to that forecast as well, because you might not be experiencing your natal Saturn return, but Saturn is entering Sagittarius in your first house of self. And it takes Saturn 27 to 30 years to go all the way around the astrological wheel and get back to your sign. And he's here for 2.5 years. He takes that long in each sign. He is focus. Saturn is lessons learned. Saturn is restriction and control, and wanting you to be very serious. Capricorns are ruled by Saturn, and this is a very serious tone. And you could find, since Sagittarius, you're not a very serious sign all the time, you like a lighthearted adventure. You don't want to take things so deep. But Saturn might insist upon it. And when people experience their Saturn return in the first house, it's a little bit uncomfortable because he takes a lot of the fun out of the experience and really puts your mind to work and puts your grounded roots to work. You might plant yourself in a new type of physical path or first house of body, the self, a new path for the self as well. There is an opposition occurring on the 17th as well between Jupiter in the 10th house of career, Virgo, expanding the retirement or the career sector, but then in opposition with Neptune directly across in the 4th house, the deepest part. So the highest pinnacle of the wheel where Jupiter is, where I feel a lot of Sagittarians will be retiring within the 11 months left, or 12 months left that he's there. And the partial solar eclipse there as well in Virgo. It's bringing a lot of, endings and awareness in that sector. But the opposition is between Neptune and the lowest part in Pisces in the 4th house of home. Pulling between home and the workplace, up and down. Where do you belong? Do you want to work from home? Do you want to be more around your environment? Or are you really suited in the career? Will you be retiring? The 17th is a day where you might have a tug of war between the expansion of Jupiter and the nebulous rose-colored glasses energy of Neptune. So don't make decisions on this day. Allow this energy to go through you and feel it out, because it's not a day to take a lot of action. Now on the 23rd, the Sun enters Libra. Okay, he makes his monthly transit into a new sign, into this 11th house where Mercury will be retrograde, conjunct the Sun. The Sun is the life force, so you will be focused in the 11th house of these groups and clubs, organizations, friendships, your goals, your wishes, where you want to see success. The Sun is the warmth, and the Sun is success. So as much as you will have the pull to be social, Mercury's retrograde there, so just really choose your words wisely with the friendships. Now, on the 24th, Mars enters Virgo, conjunct Jupiter, conjunct that new moon partial solar eclipse, even though the moon won't be there anymore, but the remaining energies of that eclipse will remain in the 10th house. Mars is stamina and energy, and in the 10th house, there's a lot happening for for Sagittarius in the 10th house of career. So for those of you looking for new work or looking to do something entirely different, it's not really the 6th house of work and the 9 to 5 schedule. It's really your title, your 10th house of title. This could be promotional energy. This can be a promotion well-deserved, that's something that you've been driving toward, or literally energy to retire at that time, because Mars will be there for 50 days. So it could apply very differently to each of you. So we have to see how that works out for you, Sag. We end the month on the 27th with our full moon total lunar eclipse at 4 degrees of Aries. This is the 5th house of children, creative endeavors, entrepreneurial energy, true love and romance. And a full moon is an ending. Full moon is bringing an awareness in that portal energy with the eclipse. The veil is being lifted here. What needs to be seen in your romances? Who are you dating? You might look at this person and be like, who am I sleeping near? Now, this isn't about real marriage energy or soulmate. This is about 5th house. dating and romantic endeavors, or it could be ending a creative endeavor, a project coming to an end that you've finished. It could also be seeing your children off to school at that time. I want to get to the cards here and see what they say for you, Sag. And if you'd like to book with me, I read all through the week. I'm at audreyalison.com. You can just select your desired length via the PayPal button, place your order, and I will get back to you in a few days. And we'll set you up for a week or so, maybe a little bit longer. My schedule is currently booked about 10 days out, but it just depends if I have cancellations, how I can fit you in. And I want to thank you also for watching my Goddess or listening to the Goddess Alive radio show. I've had such a great time being a special guest twice now for them. We're setting something up for fall, so stay tuned for those details as well. Okay, Sagittarius. Here are your September 2015 cards. What does this month have in store for you? Well, this is comforting. No, this is the Devil is actually the card that rules Capricorn, and it's very Saturnistic. This is Saturn, restriction, control. What are you bound to? The Devil is vice, but I really feel like this is acknowledging Saturn return in Sagittarius. The Devil is restriction. Saturn is restriction. Saturn is going to be controlling the first house of the body and the self. There's not a lot of hedonistic energy when Saturn's in your first house. He doesn't want you reckless. He wants you focused. This is not a time to be using a lot of vice or drugs or alcohol. And this is a 2.5-year experience. So you might feel like you might even give some of this up. You might give up some vices when Saturn's in the first house. The Ten of Wands, that's a passionate card. This is the phoenix rising from the ashes. This is rebirth, transformation, the process of change. And the Ten of Wands is in the traditional tarot, okay, the Rider-Waite deck or some of the other decks, the Connolly deck, there's a vision of a person carrying 10 rods on their back uphill, you know, like Sisyphus, the man who'd walk up the hill pushing up a rock, and then the rock would just roll back down over him. Now, although this is transformation in this deck and rising out of the ashes of a bad situation, you want to watch the burdens that you're carrying with this situation. What do you really have to take responsibility for here? You don't have to apologize for everyone. That's a message I'm getting. Now we like this, the Nine of Coins, the money tree, earnings, promotion, 10th house, promotion card. And with Mars in the 10th, absolutely. With Venus in the 10th, or Jupiter in your 10th house, absolutely. Your earnings. There's growth here. Excuse me. The last two cards, the Empress, 5th house, where the full moon total lunar eclipse is activated, the 5th house of children. Pregnancies are coming to an end. A lot of births. For those Sagittarians who are pregnant, there's a lot of births happening around the 27th of September. The full moon, the ending of that 5th house of carrying the child, of the fertility, of the creation, the 5th house. The 5th house! The 5th house! Okay. Ooh, I get the chills. I love it when all these synchronicities make sense. This is also the card of creativity, creative energy, a creative endeavor. But these two together, this is the birth of a child, the fertility, the coming to an end, and since these are the final outcome cards, a birth of a creative idea, the birth of the child, the manifestation of something you've been working on, the fertility of a project, the entrepreneurial energy in the 5th house. I love that. Okay, so if Saturn in Sagittarius is making you hone in on what you need to get rid of, not a lot of playfulness when Saturn enters the 1st house of body and self. Just go with it. It's not a lifelong experience. You were reborn from it. When this occurs, when there's lessons learned and restriction and focus to your purpose, you recover from it. You sprout some wings. It's the caterpillar and the butterfly. And there's growth in this. You can really focus and maybe give up some vices and save your money. Watch how the career develops from that. Because, the more focused you are, the more potential you have for your earnings. You're clearer. You are clearer with Saturn in the first. And I have to say, this doesn't happen always effortlessly, although most things should and do. But Saturn could make a little bit of uncomfortableness with this release, with the giving up of things that you're used to for fun. But what is born from this can be something fabulous and creative and detailed and birthing a beautiful project. Now, for those of you who are pregnant, obviously you can't be partying and all of that. So that applies to women who are expecting in September, but also getting pregnant throughout this Saturn return. It's the giving up of the playfulness of what you might have been used to. But in order to create something very artistic, fifth house, creative, the production of your fertile ideas and your entrepreneurial energy and what you want to do for fun that you would love to do to get paid to do that you might not do for a living. I love this spread for you because it's so astrologically poignant. It makes perfect sense, especially saying the fifth house and then pulling that. I love it. And I'm not worried about you, Sag. Everyone has to go through their Saturn return, and you're just who's next. So it might be time to focus and hone in and be more reserved about some of your practices, but that's okay. We all have to do that at some point. Thanks for joining me, Sag. I really love reading for you, and I'm wishing you a beautiful September and a sweet day. I'll see you next month. Bye.